Hi, my name is An, and I'm going to be your guide in this spoken English tutorial series. This is going to be part number 3, where I'll talk about how to speak English fluently without fear or hesitation. In my previous lesson, we understood why listening is important, and we also learned how to overcome your problem of not understanding native speakers' English, how there are different accents within American English, and why it is perfectly okay for you to not understand everything. And the reason for that is because, well, for example, native speakers cannot understand certain accents of their own language. And I'm not sure if I told you this, but you should relax because uh, even if you find listening to the news hard, I guarantee you that listening to a native speaker talking casually to you is going to be much easier. So if you can understand my English, you can probably understand the majority of English on the internet, on the TV, and definitely a lot of conversational English. Although conversational English probably you should spend some time to adapt to it, your ear to it. The problem. Whenever you try to speak English, you pause and search for the next perfect word to say. This creates fear and destroys your confidence. Fear and hesitation, and that's how my Indian friends describe their problem. The fear of speaking. I think that you should not worry about it. Let's talk about confidence first. Confidence is basically a sum of self-esteem and competence. Self-esteem is how much you like yourself just for yourself. It requires no reasoning. You can just like yourself just for no reason. And what this enables you to do, like you can make a mistake and it's fine because you like yourself. Someone else tells you that your English is not good, it's fine, you can improve. Because the truth is that without mistakes, you will not learn anything. Competence, on the other hand, is how well you can actually do something. It's actually your skill. In our case, it is how well you can speak English. Once you're good at something, you generally become confident in it, but you will still make mistakes. So keep the concept of self-esteem in mind. Life is a continuous learning process. Just remember this quote. And remember that in order to become competent, you will still need to make a lot of mistakes. So practice a lot and make a lot of mistakes. And laugh at yourself and just enjoy the process. My quick tips for improving fluency. Well, first, if you want to be very fluent, you need to practice speaking fast. You can practice reading fast. You can practice speaking fast, right? Reading and speaking are a little bit different. I recommend you to speak a lot at first, not read a lot of textbooks. And you just gotta relax and enjoy the process because when your brain relaxes, it's easier for it to identify what it needs to learn. You need to learn stock phrases and stock sentence structures. And you need to constantly work on improving your vocabulary. And of course, none of this will work if you do not practice a lot. So do not forget to practice a lot. Practice a lot. And if you're worried about if you can actually learn a lot of vocabulary, you should just wait for my improving vocabulary lesson. Okay, let's talk about learning stock sentence structures. I'll give you a few examples, but the stock sentence structures are for expressing certain types of ideas or expressing the change of ideas, right? Example number 1. Just because something doesn't mean that something else. Just because you want to start a business doesn't mean that you should go out there and borrow a lot of money and basically take huge risks, right? example number two. I know that something, but I wouldn't necessarily something else. It's 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 also the first example was about contrasting ideas. This one is also about contrasting ideas, but it's more like disagreeing with something. Well, both examples can be used as sentence structures for disagreeing with an idea. Okay, let's fill in this sentence structure with the words. For example, I know that you can ride a bicycle, but I wouldn't necessarily trust you my motorbike. All right. Another one. Hi, my name is something, and I would like to something else. It's very simple. You probably learned it in your elementary school. You just learn like, hi, my name is An, and I would like to introduce you to my spoken English tutorial series. Or, hi, my name is An, and I would like to present you my new ideas for the new project or something. Hi, my name is An, and I would like to talk to you about the global problem or the global environment problems. Something along those lines. You can plug a lot of things into this. 4. So yesterday I went to a supermarket and I met a dog. So tomorrow I will be doing my homework. So I advise you to not disturb me. You just learn it. Like it's like changing the ideas. These stock phrases you'll be if you just learn them, just sentence structures, right? Phrases and sentence structures. You just learn it and use them subconsciously later on, because when you want to express certain kinds of ideas, you will remember, like you will you will know what to say if you just listen to a lot of English and learn these stock sentence structures. So there are a lot of them, and there are a lot of ways to express the same idea in English. So just pick whatever you hear in whatever style, whatever structures you like, and memorize them. So for example, if you like the styles like Steve Jobs style of speaking, then you can copy his style of English. Or if you like I don't know, Justin Timberlake, he's an American music producer right now. You can try to mimic his sentence structure, his style of speaking, right? How to learn stock sentence structures. You need to listen and read a lot of English. Copy whatever you hear. I recommend that you listen to a lot of English, because you will hear a lot of spoken English that way. And you will hear a lot of things that you will like. Participate in conversations on the forums. Speak with your friends. Make sure you memorize how to deliver your ideas and use the sentences of transitions, reasoning, to emphasize something, and etc. Speak more English at home. If you find that anytime you find that you're not able to express certain idea of yours translate it into English, you need to work on it. And learn English in phrases and not words, at least at first. Then, of course, ideally you want to learn in phrases and in words to have perfect English, right? But if you just want to speak basic English, and you will make a lot of mistakes if you just do it that way. You can learn English in phrases, just learn phrases. That's how I learned Vietnamese in my first months. Your language will not be perfect, but you'll be able to at least talk fluently, but with mistakes. And start thinking in English and always be willing to improve. Learn new vocabulary, learn grammar. Later on, you need to learn it. Grammar should support your spoken English, not vice versa. All right? And yes, grammar is not necessary at first, but you will need it later in order to become perfect in English. And listen to how native speakers are not perfect themselves. So it's okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for you to make mistakes because, for example, in TOEFL speaking lessons, exercises, you will hear a lot of examples of native speakers making mistakes. They will pause, correct, and rephrase themselves a lot. For example, I might be talking about something like, oh, so yesterday I went to a job interview with this, and I met this old lady. Oh, actually, no, she wasn't an old lady. She was an old man, and we talked about parallel programming and how well I can communicate in English. Actually, in English and Spanish, because it's an English-Spanish company, and etc. etc. Right? And you hear me like correcting myself several times, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine to do it from time to time. You can learn filter words like well, but you should use them sparingly. The less filter words, the fewer filter words you use throughout your speech, the more charismatic you will, the more intelligent you will sound. And there are more slangy filter words, like, you know what I mean, and yo, but I do not recommend you learn them. They can be fun, so it's up to you to use them or not. I usually don't use them unless I'm with my friends and just kicking it. So what do you need to do? You need to continue listening to a lot of English. You need to learn stock sentence structures. You just learn phrases and structures, all right? So that then later you learn a lot of vocabulary, improve your vocabulary, and then you can just fit this vocabulary into your stock structures, sentence structure. And vocabulary will be in my next lesson, the topic of vocabulary. And always try to use English in your environment, at your home, or when you're doing groceries. You need to start thinking in English, in other words. All right, thanks. That's it for today. That's it for this lesson. So in my next lesson, I'm going to talk about how to build a huge vocabulary. Actually, not in a matter of seconds. I'm lying to you. You cannot build it in seconds. But how to build a huge vocabulary. All right. I'll give you tips and techniques that were useful for me. How I learned 3,000 words in 4 months or something, and I could do it much faster, I think. So stay tuned, and thank you. My name is An, and you can find more English speaking tips at www.englishspeakingtips.com. Thanks you. Bye.